Okay, cool, Geek. I guess now we start with the win cons first, right?
Well, I thought we were gonna do like stats first, like speed and.
Oh
We can
yeah.
do whatever. It doesn't
So,
matter to me.
honestly, think why not just equal stats to make it more interesting?
Sure, we can do equal stats. I'm fine. It doesn't matter. I'll do any.
Okay, so
Sure. So you
equal
want to give your
stats.
first one, Tom?
Since like you're the guest, I'm gonna let you do your win con first.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So I'm just gonna argue that Gaara is gonna seal your character with his what do you call it? Desert layered Imperial funnel seal. That name though. All right. I'll drop the
Hmm.
scan. I'm
Okay.
dropping it in the zone of debates. Give it a.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna do mine too if I still have like permission to go there.
Oh yeah, someone has to give them that tag thing.
I'll give it to
Already done.
All right, there it is.
Guys, I'm getting locked out though.
All right, so essentially, this is a sealing jutsu that Gaara he surrounds you in sand, and then he just uses like magnet release to seal you. Um, and basically, what do you call it? It's stated that it works on like other Kage level opponents. And as a matter of fact, it was gonna work on like Gaara had planned to use it on like all of the other like Kage, which would which you didn't like you'd say that would work on even people, and this is a weaker guard than the one we see later in the war, and it still works on people like the Tsuchi Kage, I believe it was, and the Tsuchi Kage scales to what do you call it? The reanimated Tsuchi Kage would scale to crap, the one Genjutsu guy right would scale to like the one with particle style, and like they're all around the same tier, along with the third Raikage and the others, who should all be around like Eight Tails level. And at this point, this Gaara was relative to his dad Rasa, and Rasa's like best sort of like feats and stuff is like bodying the One Tails, and there's like a massive difference between the One Tails and the Eight Tails. So yeah. So you should be able to seal like people stronger than him.
I mean, of course, he would be able to seal people stronger than him. That's what his hand jutsu is for.
Okay, so does your character have like?
I actually do have like a count. Do you have like a defense or something against that?
Wait, say again.
Yes, my guy actually does have something against that attack. He actually has 2 defenses against it. I would argue that my guy could burn the attack away and escape.
Can what it away? I didn't.
He would burn the attack away. Then he would incinerate the attack and get out.
So he's gonna incinerate the sealing jutsu. Can you like explain how he like incinerates?
I mean, the sealing jutsu uses the sand, right? Because I'm looking at this, and it's the big sand pyramid that he makes right there.
Yeah, he covers you in sand and then like seals you.
Yes, I'd argue that he would be able to burn through the sand and through the mystical forces that hold the sand together.
Wait, did you say mystical?
Because he has an ability. I mean, you know, like chakra, it's a type of mystical energy. I mean, in Naruto, it's life energy. But the same is said for like
I
the
wouldn't consider
abilities
it.
and like the
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it
like the
mystical.
champions.
Okay, well, can you like provide
And
scans
that-
for like how he would incinerate it, like incinerate the sand?
Yeah, I can provide some stuff. I should have probably told you this before, but it's based on like a text-based game, so there's no pictures and there's only text.
That's fine.
I'd like let you know that before.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
And the scans and to debates. One.
Alright, I'm reading it. Give me a second.
God dang it. Oh.
Oh, so it's fire. Okay, I see. I mean, how strong is the
fuel.
fire? Because like it can incinerate things. That's fine, but like to what?
How strong is the fire?
Yeah.
Well, the fire is strong enough to affect opponents that have shields up similar to Gaara, and it can bypass those shields. And
I mean, that doesn't mean
it's an
anything. Like, not.
instantaneous.
Wait, hold on. That doesn't mean anything. Not all shields are created equal. If I have a shield made of like wood, that's not the same as like a shield made of iron. So you'd still have to quantify what that means.
That is true. What I'm talking about is like the shield was made of a higher level type of energy than like chakra.
Okay, define higher level energy. What does that mean?
Define higher level energy.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, the shield that he managed to get through has more hacks abilities than what Gaara's sand has, or like has shown resistance to.
That still doesn't mean anything. If anything, that would just be like it bypasses like hacks, I guess. I'm asking you specifically like how strong is it? Like can it burn multi-continental sand? That's what I'm asking you. If anything, the way fire works actually, if you heat up sand enough, it'll just like turn to glass. So if anything, it'll just like what would you call that? Like transmutate like the sand into like ultimate glass or something? Like I don't know like what that would even do. Like your character would still be sealed.
I mean, yeah, with regular fire, but this is a ethereal fire.
Right, that's what I'm trying to get you to say. Like, how strong is it? Is it multi-continental? Does it, like, scale to the user? Does it scale above the user, below the user? Like, how?
Oh, actually, it scales
like,
to the user's intelligence. As smart as the user is as strong as the flames and magic abilities are.
Okay, well, can you...
So
like, that's still not a quantification. Can you explain what that means? Like, it's as strong as the user is intelligent. Okay, well, what is...
Oh, okay, let me explain what it means real quick then. What it means is that the more intelligence that you gain in, like, his verse, as smart as you are, as powerful as the spells are. So, like, if you have 10 intelligence, your spells are weak. But if you have maxed out intelligence, your spells basically have they have basically limitless types of capabilities at maxed out intelligence. And then they also multiply on top of each other.
Let me rephrase my question, right? So, I'm not saying that the ability isn't strong, like, within the verse, right? I'm asking for, like, a cross-verse quantification, right? So, like, really strong could mean, like, really strong compared to, like, other people. Whereas, like, not necessarily compared to the user. If you say, like, the magic is, like, mostly the user's, like, AP, I guess you'd say, then, like, since this is equal stats, right, like, Gaara's sand would, like, in, like, all his, like, sealing stuff, it's stated to, like, work on, and shown to work on, like, stronger people. So, I'm saying that, like, Gaara's, like, ability would be above himself, whereas at best, your ability is relative to your character, whereas mine is above.
I mean, yes, it would be above Gaara physically. But I'm saying it would be above my character's like mental state. You can like have a higher mentality than a physicality. But I have found I did remember something that does put him like above that level in the game.
Okay.
And he's like talking.
Alright, well, can you give like a quantification for how much above himself it would be? Since you're saying it's like above him, how like can you say by how?
Oh, in the game, there's this magic multiplier, and it can be over 350 times multiplied above himself.
Okay, you said it can be. What does that mean? Like, is there some sort of condition for that?
I mean, like, the magic multiplier maxes out, like, when, like, you beat the game. So, like, it's ever going higher and higher the more you, like, get used to using your magic. And he also has several perks that can up his magic. But what I'm doing right now is that I'm getting this one scan that basically shows how strong his magic is, because he learned it from it scales off of these people that I'm showing.
Okay.
There you go. This is just gonna be like two-parter because like a two-part thing because it won't let me upload more than 1,000 words.
Okay, that's holy crap. That's a lot. All right, all right. I'm. All right, I just read half of it. Let me read the other half. Okay, so I just tried to speed read it. So basically, what I'm getting is like the more the player like goes on and like does things, the more like their magic, like their soul, like turns into like magic energy or whatever, and like their bodies and souls and stuff, and then like they get stronger.
Oh yeah, yes, that's actually is right. More experience and the more intelligence you gain, the stronger your magic will become. And he actually scales above these people in like this story that I showed you. People who like had the magical potential to whoop the world on a planetary level.
Okay,
They had the
so
bird planetary level magic.
right. So what I'm hearing is their magic powers are contingent upon their physical and like spiritual and to some degree mental, I guess, energy. Um, so that would just mean that their magic should scale somewhat relative to them, although like arguably if like a few times greater.
Hey, no, it's not physical. This is purely like mental. Like
Okay.
it isn't scaled off of the body. It's scaled off of the intellect and the spirit.
Okay, that's fine. So
Like,
so spirit and like mental energy. So it's contingent upon that. All right, that's fine. So I'll scale like a couple times above them, so the user, correct? Like 2 times.
yes, it will.
Okay, well that's fine. Well then I just argue, right, that Gaara's ability, since I mentioned before, right, it'll work on people that scale to the Raikage, and Gaara should only scale to the One Tail. The difference between like the One Tail and the 8 Tail would be massive. For instance, what would you? Let me see. Let me think of a good example. One second. Okay, so a good example between like the One Tails and like the 8 Tails is the 8 Tails was able to like beat up other like amped Biju, right? The 8-Tails and to some extent the 9-Tails, but even back when it was just like KCM1 Naruto and like Killer B, right? Versus like the Biju, right? B was still able to contend with like the Biju, unlike Naruto, right? And these are like Obito's amped like Jinchuriki, right? Which would also have like the Sharingan and Rinnegan amped. I'm actually pretty sure like B states that. So so that would easily be like just the 8-Tails alone would easily be like several times like baseline Jinchuriki level, and Gaara's still able to like seal people on that level. So I just argue that like Gaara's ceiling, and if I remember correctly, B was able to take on like 2 Jinchuriki instead of just like 1, which would mean like and since like Gaara could seal that, then his like ceiling would work on people 3 to 6 times stronger than him, give or take, which is above your 2 times.
Wait,
So
I
the
never
ceiling
said,
would still work.
wait, what? I never said 2 times. I said the magic has a multiplier of over 300 times.
Well, you
minimum
said,
300 times,
wait, hold on. You said like the multiplier could be 300 times, and I actually like what that means, and then like you dropped this text, right? And I read through it, and all it really says is like the magic is like contingent upon like the user giving their like mental and like spiritual energy and all that stuff, right? And then I said based off of that, the fact that it's made out of like 2 different energy sources, that should scale to the user, it would be 2 times. And then you said yes, right? That was you agreeing. Do you want to like backtrack on
I
that?
didn't say that. I said it scales above the user because the spirit and the mind transcend like the physical limitations.
Wait, you're misunderstanding what I said. If it's 2 times the user, then it inherently scales above the user. I said that it would scale above the user by 2 times.
I said it was 2 times the user. In fact,
No, I said hold on. I don't think you heard me, because I said that I said that, and then you said yes. Whether or not you like consciously said that is irrelevant. You did say yes to my claim, which was it's like 2 times. So like if you want to backtrack on that, that's fine.
Never. What?
You actually did Brawl. Like, I will have to say, like,
no, wait, what? I'm still. Okay, what you asked me is that you said, okay, so basically the magic and is based on the body and the mind and the spirit. Then I said, no, it transcends the body.
Right, and then I said,
body.
and then I said, then it's just the spirit and the mind. So like 2 times the user, and you said yes.
What? Doesn't make it.
Say yes.
When did I say yes?
he literally asked you, is it just 2 times the user, give or take? You said yes.
Approximately 2 minutes ago.
If you want to, like I said, if you want to backtrack on it, that's fine. Like I'm not gonna hold it against you. You can backtrack. That's fine. Just say what you actually mean, because I'm just trying to get you to quantify this. And like it seems like you're trying not to give a solid quantification. That's all I want.
Just given a quantification. I just named some feats that he did in the game.
Okay, wait. Wait. So you're misunderstanding, right? I'm trying to say like, okay, well, where does the user scale? And then like, does his like how much above him does his magic scale, right? Or like is his AP like is his magic contingent upon his AP? If so, to what degree? His like AP, because some characters, right, their magic is their AP. Like some characters, they'll shoot like a magic fireball, and that's their attack potency. So I'm just asking you for like more context.
Wait, hold up, there's a train next to me.
Okay.
Where is he at the moment? There is a fucking train next.
Wait, debater, you forgot to mute and stuff.
Okay, sorry about that. There's a train right now. Oh, what? Really? Oh.
No, he was deafened, so that's why I spoke.
Okay, I'm inside now.
Okay. So basically, all I was saying is this entire time I've mostly just been trying to get a quantification out of you, because it seems like you're trying not to like quantify. You like give these like vague quantifications, like, well, magic could, like you literally said, like could be like, I think you said what, 250 or 350 times, something like that. And I was like, well, what does that mean, right? And you were like, well, it gets stronger like like throughout the game, and it's like, okay, and then you send like these text bombs of like for like scans, which is fine, but like they say like the magic, all it really says is like the magic is contingent upon the user's like spiritual and mental energy, right? Which all that would mean is it's like sort of like in Naruto, right? How like chakra is like physical, mental, and spiritual energy. It would just be like a component of those like things, right? So like I would just say that based off of that, right? If you argue that like first, like if you say like the energies were to scale to each other or something, then it would be like a 2 times boost. That was like where that came from. But if you have like a more solid quantification, by all means, go ahead. That's fine. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay. Here we go. Let me just screenshot this. This. Okay, I have a screenshot that shows like a better picture of like what I was talking about.
Okay.
And it's is this it? Okay, here we go. This should be it. Oh, yeah, this is from today. There we go. Okay, here's like a screenshot of like the spell effect multiplier.
Okay, let me read this real quick.
Top part, the west is other stuff.
Oh, you mean the part where it says spell effect multiplier 100%?
Yes. You can get.
Okay, let me check.
Yes, that's what I mean. I mean, the rest of it, like, there's not really much there besides that. The spell effect multiplier, the only thing I wanted to show you. I just took a screenshot so you could see, like, it's from the game.
Okay. Like he gets the full multiplier. Well, can you provide a scan of like what that multiplier like?
If you get the full multiplier?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what I have to say is that this is not the multiplier maxed out, but he actually can get to be much higher than 100. I mean, do you want the 100, the ones higher than 100, or are you just good like with the 100 one?
It'd have to be higher than 100 because like, well, even if it's like the multiplier's maxed out, I still don't know what that means. Like, I don't know anything about like your character's verse, so I still need like elaboration and like scans for like what that means.
Okay, well, basically the multiplier in game and in the story basically means that as high this multiplier is how much times your magic is. So, like, say if the multiplier was like 5% or something, your spells would be 5 times stronger than like they usually are at a base. And he can constantly multiply up it with his magic, like whatever number is on like the screen. For instance, you see that he has like 100 there. It means he can multiply his power by like his magic times 100. That's basically what it means.
Alright, so first I'm gonna need like a scan for like how strong his like base magic should be, if that makes sense. Like, it does like his base magic like scale to his base AP, or does like his maxed out magic scale to like his base AP. Like can you like provide some?
Oh, you mean wait? You said that his magic skill is base AP. I thought we were doing equal. Oh, I know what you was talking about. You're saying that if like the damage he does, like physically, does his magic scale to that at base?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
do we?
because this is equal stats, right? But my argument is that my character's hack has been shown to work on people and stated to shown to work on people much stronger than himself. Like I said, people that scale to the third Raikage, who's a beast.
Yeah, okay. So you know that thing that I gave you, like that text you read. That's actually
Yeah.
how strong his magic is at base. I mean, that's actually how strong he is at base because he's managed to put people that can like boost themselves physically with their magic. He's managed to hurt people while while you're like like how when sometimes you can use like a chakra and Naruto to like make yourself physically more able than like you normally are.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's like what they did with their magic in here, and they can actually reshape themselves with it as well. And he still beat them while they were amped up with their magic in a physical confrontation, while they physically amped themselves up with their level of magic that I've shown. And like this text is powerful enough to reshape the entire planet of Mirrors.
Sure. So you're saying that that like the characters he beat are like planetary, right? So you're saying okay, so I'm trying to understand. So you're trying to say that like your character's like base AP is planet and his magic, or just one?
Basically, his base AP and his base magic are planet level, and he can just, like I showed, he can multiply them up above that.
Sure. Okay. Well, can you give me like the max multiplier that'd be like applicable for this debate?
In the max, you want the max multiplier? I thought you would go like the 100 times multiplier.
Well, I said like 100%. Like I'm pretty sure. Maybe I didn't say this. I don't know. But like what I meant to say, right, is that like the 100%, because of how percentages work, all that means is that it's like all of it, right? So 100%, right? Your spell effect multiplier is 100%. 100% would literally just be all of something or one. So like one times doesn't really mean anything, unless I'm missing some context.
Yeah, I'm gonna add like onto the context. Like when it says 100%, it doesn't mean that's 100% of his base power. That means it's 100% times his base power because it's the multiplier, not like his base magic.
Wait, can you repeat that? You started cutting out towards like the beginning of the middle.
Okay, basically okay, wait, can you hear me now? Like you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, basically what I'm saying is that this is basically not his. When it says 100%, that doesn't mean this is 100% of his base magic. This is 100% above his base magic because it says spell effect multiplier. It's literally 100% multiplied by his other 100%.
Yeah, so like it's all of his magic multiplied by his AP. Is that right?
All of his magic basically multiplied by basically is all of his magic just multiplied on top of each other. Because all people like in the game have the ability to amp up their magic.
Alright, can you show that it's like his magic times his magic, I guess?
Yeah, I can actually. I mean, can I show you that it's his magic times his magic?
Yeah, isn't that what you said? That like the multiplier isn't like his magic times his AP. You said it's like his magic stacked on his magic. I thought that meant times. No, is it like addition? Like,
well, actually, it's funny that you would mention like his magic times his AP. Actually, he can boost like his AP with his charged weapons.
okay, well, right. Okay, I just need how strong above himself his magic is. That's all I really. Like quantified, not just that it's big strong. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Let's check this thing. Let me check the game for the other magic multiplier.
Okay.
Founded. Here's like some proof. This is from the official site right here.
Alright, give me 1 second.
It is okay. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Alright, so, spell effect, the maximum as of, okay, I'm assuming that's like the version of the game, is 385%. Okay, so that'll be like a 3.85 times. That's pretty good, okay.
Yes. So yes, it does scale above the base, and it's just multiplying his base, like I said.
Alright, nice, alright. So his base times, we can say 4 times to round up and be generous. Alright, that's fine. Gaara's like ceiling has worked on people who, as I said earlier, were 6 times above him. If we go with the Bijou scaling, right, that the 8 tails can take on like 2 Jinchuriki that are like the Amp Jinchuriki. And then like the third Raikage is supposed to like scale above the 8 tails or whatever.
Wait, why did you just say like? Why'd you just say like 6 times? It's 385.
Okay, wait. Your scan right there, it says 385%, right? Not 385 times. So that would be, if we converting percentages to decimals, right, you would get 3.85 times. That's what the percentage would be converted.
Hey, Brawl. 100% equals a 2 times boost.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to find something higher, but I guess I can go with the 4 times boost.
All right, so here, let me bring out the exact scaling from before, just in case you forgot. So basically the Jinchuriki that like Killer B fought along with like KCM1 Naruto they weren't like regular Bijou. They were amped by Obito's Rinnegan and Sharingan, and then well, technically it's a Mangekyo Sharingan, right? Because Obito does have that, right? And the Mangekyo Sharingan was stated to be a several times boost, and then on top of that, the Rinnegan is like arguably like so this is a little bit weird. This part is a little bit more ambiguous. But when Madara got his like second Rinnegan onto his first one, it was a 4 times amp. So I can say something similar to this, right? Since they're going from like normal eyes to like a Rinnegan and then a Mangekyo Sharingan, it would be something like that. You can argue like a 7 times, but for the sake of this like debate, I'm just gonna say it's like 3 to 6 times. And then B was like he was sort of fighting what do you call it, like 2, because Naruto and B were getting jumped, right? There were like 6 Bijou, and now they were sort of on the losing end when all of them like jumped them at like the same time, but B was at least able to like keep up with more than one at the same time, right? So like 2. So even if you say it's only like a 3 times multiplier onto base like base Jinchuriki, right? He would still take on, like I said, 2. So that would be like a 6 times normal Jinchuriki. And Gaara at the time that he fought, that he like was able to like seal people like the third Raikage, he was only scaling to like the one tails at the time. That was like freshly after he took that L to Datara. And so yeah, he'd be like 1 Jinchuriki, whereas he'd be sealing people who are relative to the third Raikage, who are the equivalent of 6 Jinchuriki. So whereas your ability works on people like 4 times your character's level, mine works on people 6 times my character's level. So my ability would still beat your ability in this case.
Oh, okay. Can I see like the scans for that?
For which part? Like all of it, or like what part specific?
Like the one where you said like it's 6 like it's 6 times, like he beats people 6 times above him. The one with Madara would probably be better. Like when he amped up those Jinchuriki and Gaara still beat them.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm using a scaling chain, right? I'm saying that the Obito, not Madara, Obito like amped the Jinchuriki with the Rinnegan and a Mangekyo Sharingan. And when Madara, like I was using, but that part's not really important. The Madara part isn't really important. I said like I would grant that doesn't mean anything, and I would just use like the Mangekyo Sharingan. But I could use the Rinnegan thing if you want. But I'm using it as a scaling chain to say that like the Eight Tails, technically it was like Eight Tails like Killer Bee. Like he beat like well not beat but like he was like fighting like two Jinchuriki at the same time, and then like the third Raikage was known for like at one point he stalemated the Eight Tails, but like more consistently he would like beat the Eight Tails and like seal it and stuff. Like he would beat it up and like he had cut off all its tentacles and like would just boop doo doo on it. And it was just kind of fun.
Oh, okay. Can I like see the thing about him? Gaara, you said basically Gaara beat the Eight Tails.
No, I said that Gaara is able to seal people, like in the data books again, right? He's sealing a Kage, and they're saying like Kage level opponent, and in context, that's in like the war, right? This is in the war arc, like towards the beginning, right before Gaara got all of his like crazy amps and stuff, and he like sealed, he sealed his dad Rasa, and I think he also sealed the Tsuchi Kage, I believe, and the Tsuchi Kage was relative to the Raikage, I believe it was. But all of those Kage level people should give or take be on the same level, more or less.
Oh. Okay, that's basically what you're saying. I have one question though. You know, does Gaara get Sukaku removed from him, right?
Yeah, that's the fight I was talking about when he got destroyed by Deidara, and then that's when he got like Shikaku removed, and then he went on to like fight his dad.
Okay, so Gaara sealing jutsu works on people that are 6 times above his level, correct?
Yeah, because Gaara at that point should scale relative to Shikaku, and then he's able to seal people like the Tsuchi Kage, who should scale to the Raikage, who are 6 times above him, give or
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's nice. I do actually have a counter to this.
okay.
When I said that my guy had like those multipliers,
Yeah.
well, he actually does have another multiplier to that, but it's not in the way you think.
Okay. Well, can you like explain how it works and then provide scan?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, but can you explain it first before you drop the scan, so I want to at least like have an idea of what I'm going up against?
Oh, okay. Well, basically, you know how Gaara had like Sukaku inside of him at one point?
Yeah.
Well, my character has actually something similar to like a beast inside of him that also can boost his abilities.
Okay.
Ones.
When you say boost, would it just be like something like the 8 gates or the Kaioken, or would it be like a hacks boost, or like how would it, like?
More like a hacks boost because it directly like affects his. You know the magic we were talking about, like the magic versus like Gaara's. Yeah, it's basically boosting his magic. Is what I mean.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Just gonna let you read through that. And here's is that, and also this even includes a statement of her literally teaching him as well.
Cool. Let me read that real quick. Once.
Okay.
All right. So, like, what does this have to do with like your character resisting?
What does this have to do? Okay.
Yeah, like it's you're saying like it's an amp, right? Which is fine, but like, how much does it amp them? Like, can you quantify it? Like, because if you can't quantify it, then it doesn't.
I actually can quantify it. I can actually quantify it to be higher than you know how you said he was like he could like hurt people 4 times his base with his magic?
Yeah.
Well, I have someone who can actually do much. Well, she's actually someone who can do much more than that, and she's a ghost that's possessing his body, kind of like how a stand works in JoJo.
Well, you said like he can do much more. What does much mean? Like, can you like that's not a quantification.
I mean, it's right there, and like the thing I said, has a host of abilities such as body manipulation, mind reading via possession, intangibility, flight, DNA morphine, and ectoplasma manipulation. Those
Well,
are the
I'm
other
not.
abilities, let's see.
Wait. I'm not denying that it like gives him more abilities. I'm saying that in order to like resist this ceiling, he needs to like amp his ceiling resistance. Like to the level of like Gaara's ceiling. And if it doesn't do that, all these other things don't mean anything.
Yeah, I know, but you said like what other abilities, and I was just saying the ability is right here. I was actually gonna go. I'm actually getting the proof right now that this actually does work. Because remember how I also said that these spells multiply on how much more knowledge and experience you get.
Yeah.
And how he managed to get his to be 4 times himself.
Yeah.
That's 100 and actually wait, how many days is this? That's 114 days.
Okay.
Remember how like I showed you that?
Yeah, I remember something along those lines. Yeah.
It's like look at that image I posted again, and you'll see like at the bottom it says 114 days. That's how long it takes him to like get his magic in game to like the 385 mark. I just put that there for reference. So yes. And
So,
now
like-
you're probably asking like how does this like help my thing is what I'm saying at the moment.
Yeah. Like what is yeah? Like how does this help your case?
Okay, well it basically helps my case because you know this ghost I say he's possessed by? She's actually been learning high-level spells and magic for centuries.
Okay, so wait, you're saying that like because like he took like a few days to like get this strong, but she's been like doing magic for centuries, so like she's stronger, like by like trillions of times or something like.
I haven't give like a specific multiplier for it yet. I thought you would like want some proof that she's centuries years old. I mean, wait, can you hear me? Did I go out?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit.
God dang it. Okay, here's my... Hey, dang, I need to stop going over there then. Okay, here's what I'm saying. I said I haven't given a multiplier for it yet, but I was just thinking that you would just like some proof that she's actually centuries years old and has been practicing magic for all that time.
Okay. Yeah, if you can prove that, that'd be great. But yeah, but I want the quantification a little bit more.
Quantification.
Like, I can steal
Well-
men that she's centuries of years old, that's fine.
Steel man? What do you mean by steel man?
Like, I can accept it without, like, arguing against it.
Because of what I've already shown?
Well, just because I'm trying to save time.
Okay, Brawl, he's saying he's fine with accepting it as a form of a devil's proof. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I want to provide like some evidence for it.
If you want to, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, you don't have to do it.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that you're fine with like accepting that she's of like the champion point for 4 times multiplier, and I mean I'm willing to say she's just 4 times herself if like you want to agree with that, and I'll put him at like 8 times.
8 times? Yeah, I can steal men then.
Yeah, so like we'll go with like 8 times. I could get her higher, but just for like the sake of time.
All right, sure. Then I'll just like do basically what you did and like upscale the Jinchuriki. So, remember when yeah, actually, you said you wanted the Renegon scan. I think it was that it's like a 4x buff. I can get you that. Just give me a second. So yeah, I'm just like upscaling like the buff that the Jinchurikis get. So I just
Hey, didn't
argued
you
that.
already state like the buff was a set thing though? Like you said, it
Well,
was 4x a thing.
Well, I said that the Renegon is like 4x, but the Mangekyo Sharingan is 3x. But I told you that I would only like use the Mangekyo Sharingan difference because at the time that's all I needed, right? Until you like upscale.
Oh. Okay, so that makes them about equal then?
Not necessarily, right? Because each Jinchuriki would get the if you want to add it instead of multiply it, that's fine. We can go each Jinchuriki gets like a 7x amp, and then its 2 Jinchuriki would be 14x. So so Gaara can use the sand jutsu on people 14 times himself.
Uh, two different abilities to get him the 4x. I mean, to get him to
Wait, say again.
14 times. You use two different abilities and not the same one, and just rescaled it.
Yeah, I used 2 different abilities instead of just one, because each Jinchuriki has a Renegon and a Mangekyo Sharingan, and the multiplier for the Mangekyo is several times, which most people would just like downplay to like 3x, and then the Renegon is pretty much verbatim 4x. That's almost irrefutable.
Oh, hold up.
So yeah, if you add the 3x to the 4x, we get 7, and then since it's 2 Jinchuriki instead of just 1, you'd add 7 and
He's
7.
not here.
Oh snap!
I'm here now. I just had to go. I just had to get something. But I'm still listening though.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how I got the 14 time.
Okay. So you got the 14. Yeah, see, I guess now that we both conceded on like it being only 8x, I can't add anything to like the ghosts. Right?
I mean, if you want, I'll let you. That's fine.
Do I have anything? It said 14x, right?
Yep.
Oh wait. Did I cut out again?
Well, if you said anything, then yeah, I didn't know you had said it.
I mean, you said like 14x, right? Just so we're clear on that.
Yep, 14 times is what I upscaled to, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I actually do have something like some things that can close the gap. Okay. Okay, 14x. Have something else. Okay, let me go to items and equipment. Okay, I have something that can actually raise him beyond 14x. I have some stuff too.
Cool beans.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the debate scan. Okay, here's the first one. This is
Boost
the Eldritch
spells.
Staff.
Cool. All right. All right then. In this case, I'll just argue that can you like prove that like this spell is like passive or that it activates in like a minuscule amount of time so that like it'll happen before your character gets sealed, since this is equal stats, right? Both of our characters would have like equal speed. Gaara's like sealing jutsu, he just uses it and it's like automatically like that like potent, right? But like you didn't need to
Hey,
prove that like your
wait,
character's ability.
wait, could you wait a bit? Wait, this isn't like the spell. This is like the other thing I was mentioning that could like put him like above the sand.
Yeah,
Did you
the
move to
staff.
another point?
No. Like, okay, so the staff, like, since it says it boosts spells by 2, I'm saying that he'd have to use the staff to like use like the ability to like boost spells by 2, right? Like before Gaara like, and since they're equal speed, right? Gaara should be able to steal him relatively quickly.
Basically, what you're saying is that
Basically,
Gaara's sand moves faster than he does.
basically what he's asking is that he's asking if you have to you would have to prove like if you're like your like multiplier is faster or like is it passive enough so like you can pull it off before he can use the seal.
Yeah,
I mean,
because like since this is like
by whole,
like
actually, yes, this is actually a passive thing because all he has to do is like hold the staff. I mean, the
Sure,
staff
well,
just passively does it.
sure, but is he like holding it all the time, or does he keep it like in a backpack or like an inventory or something? Like, is it like
I mean, it's
always
one
like
of the many weapons that he uses. So I would say it's up to like whether he probably starts off with it most. But basically in cutscenes, like in the game, he usually has like this weapon.
because just by like that, then like you can say, well, like Naruto has shown to like use kunai in character, right?
Bless you.
And like other characters have been shown to like use kunai and shuriken, right? Like consistently. But does that mean like they start the fight with like the kunai or shuriken like in their hands or something like that? It's not the same thing at all.
You're asking, does he start off with it in his hand?
Yeah, like is it like passive in the sense that like he always has it on him like 24/7 in his hands, not just like in a pouch on his like leg.
Well, to be perfect, well, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. It's with Geek. Basically, the weaponry that he has, he basically is dependent on like character choice as a like player choice as to what weapon he has.
Okay, so like since it's a player choice to like whether he starts it like in his hand, that would just like boil down to like game mechanics. Are there no like is there not like some sort of like what would you call it, like a story mode or like something like that
It
that
is a
says
story
like
mode.
yeah.
I mean, yes, there is a story mode, and
Okay,
in the
well,
story, the weapon you have him carrying in game actually transfers to the weapon he carries in story more consistently. So yes, he actually would have this on him most of the time.
Okay, so it's on him like I said before. Does that mean in his hand or like on his back? Because like Link could have like his like sword on his back, right? He always carries it on him, right? But that's not necessarily in his hand. Same with like the Naruto example I brought up earlier, right? Just because they have shuriken like in a pouch on their leg doesn't mean it starts off with like shuriken in their hand.
I mean, yes, it's in his hand, and like the things, as in he's literally has it in his hand.
Okay, and you said
If
that
you
that's like
play that
a
as
player
a-
choice.
I mean, yeah, yes, end game, but in the story, it also transfers. What happens in game basically affects the story.
Alright, so you're saying that, like, whatever you do in game, like, affects the story. So, like, it's, like, this weird, like, vague, he might start with it, he might not, because by that same, like, logic that, like, if you carry it, then, like, he would have, like, however many items are in the game in his hand, because you'd, like, give him all the abilities from each game or something like that, which I don't think really works.
I mean that like if you consistently use the staff, then the staff will be consistently used in the story.
No, what he means, what he's talking about is what, like, he's asking, since you said it's up to player's choice, he's asking, like, he's getting the impression that, like, any weapon could be used and anything could be swapped out.
Yeah, so like here's a good example, right? Like in Legend of Zelda, right? Link has like he has in his inventory, at least in the ones that I play, he has his lamp, he has like boomerang, he has his bow and arrow, he has his little claw thing, and a bunch of other things, right? And you could have all the time as your like favorite thing to use. It could be like the chain thing, right? Or it can be the boomerang, right? So that you'd have like a bunch of things that you can keep in your hand, but not every player does. Sort of like what you're saying. So saying that your character can use like all of the weapons at the same time would be like saying like Link can use all 30 like objects in his inventory simultaneously or something.
Yeah, that would be the case for like actually yeah, I do agree with you somewhat. That would be the case for like if he was like a another play like the player. But as I stated, he has two sets of hands now basically. Like with his shared body.
Well, here's what I'm saying, right? I'm saying that if you have to like, for your argument to work, he has to have like every weapon in his hand at the same time. And unless he has like 30 hands, that's like that's not how it would work.
Basically,
I mean, I get what you're saying though.
Okay.
So basically, you're saying it's basically up to player choice whether he would have the staff or not, and therefore it's kind of 50-50.
I mean, not even 50-50. How many like weapons does he have? Because if it's like I gave the analogy of like Legend of Zelda, if it's like that, and the character has like 50, like not 50. I'm sorry, I'm exaggerating. If he has like 30 items in his inventory, then it's like a 1 in 30 chance, which is kind of like it would be easier for me to assume that he would not have it, but then he would because it's a higher probability. Because again, it's a 1 in 30.
And he has about 9 other weapons that like he has.
Sure.
So
Okay,
basically,
perfect.
with the Elder Staff, that's 10. So and it's a 1 out of 10 chance.
Yeah, so it'd be like you said yeah, so it's 10 items in his inventory. Yeah, so it's a 1 out of 10 chance. So it would be a higher probability that he wouldn't have it than he would, right? Since we don't really have anything else to lean on, we sort of have to appeal to probability in this case. So like it would more so lean in my favor, so that wouldn't really work for you.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. I know. So basically, what you're all asking is saying. So basically, on to the other point, you said Gaara's sand moves basically instantly, is what you said.
I'm saying like it would move at like a relative speed to like our characters pretty much. Arguably faster, but for the sake of like making this quick, right? I'm just gonna say that like it should move at like a relative speed to both of our characters, right? Since it's equal stats. So I'm just gonna say that basically what do you call it? Your character, right, and mine are equal. So the sand would get to your character since I think standard battle assumption is only like a few meters. So and because Gaara can also like use like sand from the environment actually and since like standard battle assumptions is like a neutral space, right? That would mean that they would be fighting in an area that has like sand in it, so Gaara can use like his abilities to his utmost, which would mean that Gaara can literally like manipulate the sand like at your character's feet and just like make a giant like ceiling thing like that he uses to seal people, just like he does like in the series.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, if we're going to go like that, I'd argue that my character can actually. So basically, equal speed, the attacks would hit each other.
Yeah, if it's like equal speed, then I'm saying like since this is like a neutral space, there'd be like sand everywhere, or at least potential sand, because Gaara can like grind the rock in the environment into sand, so it's basically the same difference, right? So Gaara would just like get the sand that's at your character's feet. Since it's like a few meters away, right? Gaara would just like gather the sand at your character's feet and steal your character that way. Like before your character can use any of his like buffs, pretty much.
Or he can use his buffs. What if he had like a defense that held up for him to like be able to use his buffs, his staff in time?
If he like has a defense to it, then like he has a defense to it. I don't really understand the question. What do you mean?
Like he has a defense that protects him from like being crushed by the sand in time enough for him to get his staff out and raise himself above God's sand.
Well, I'm not arguing like the sand crushes your character like to death. I'm arguing that like it's a ceiling, right? So it'll just like keep your character immobilized, so they wouldn't be able to do anything, and like Gaara would win that way. So it's not like crushing you to death.
Basically, he's saying he's referring to the Mafuba from DBS.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically, it's more of a trap thing than like a death thing, like his coffin thing.
Yeah, it's not like the sand coffin. It just like keeps you like in there, like stuck. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to like clear that up. I thought it was like one of those crushing jutsus, like where he traps you in a jutsu and then he like gets rid of you.
No. This isn't like a murder technique. This is specifically sealing.
Okay, so the technique works via him trapping you. So like when he does trap you in that jutsu, is there like sand all around you, like it's just bearing down on you?
Yeah, there is sand in there. Yeah, I'm assuming you didn't read the scan because like it literally says like on the scan that he like makes a giant pyramid of sand that's like the size of an actual pyramid, and then it contains you, and then like he can make it even stronger at some points in the war when he like teams up with like Shikaku or whatever, and like he can add the curse mark from Shikaku's body to like make it even like a better sealing jutsu. But like if this isn't like with Shikaku, which I'm assuming it's not, right? He would just like trap your character within like this mountain giant pyramid of like sand. And then he keeps your character in there via magnet release, obviously.
Magnet release, you mean the thing that works on metal?
Pretty much, like magnet release in like Naruto's like kind of vague because Gaara can manipulate like any type of sand. Because like his dad Rasa manipulates gold dust. The third Kazekage manipulated like iron sand, but Gaara seems to be able to turn like literally any like mineral into sand and like with his magnet release.
Okay. Oh yeah, we read like the post you sent, and it said like it turns it into a super dense sand, because then that not even air can get in.
Yeah.
Like we read like the thing you dropped, and it said like it produces a prison that's super dense that not even air can escape it.
Yeah. So like if anything, like if you want to argue like your character would die, then like I guess via like suffocation after like a couple like hours or minutes. I don't know how long your character can hold your breath, but that's not what I was going for. I wasn't going for like the KO. I was going for like the seal, I guess. Well, technically it would be a KO. I mean, like I'm not going for like the death. I'm going for like.
I get what you mean. So basically, I need like a. So wait, what I have to ask first is like, did Gaara start off with this sealing jutsu to begin with?
I mean, yeah, like he's done it in like before, like when he was fighting what do you call it? It was like the one, I think it was like blind Madara, like the one that like got revived. They were like Madara started like no, it was either blind or one-eyed. He like summoned his like he started trying to fight the Biju or whatever, and then I think it was One Eye. He like started trying to fight the Biju, and then Gaara was like, okay, I have to like, because Madara was way faster than all of the Biju. He like blitzed and one shot all of them. So they thought of a strategy so that Gaara could like knock Madara down so that he could like seal him. And then that's just what they did. They knocked him down and like sealed Madara and like made it extra strong. But Madara as well, so he broke out of it. But you get the picture.
Okay, so basically he used this against a high-level threat that he knew of. Would he use it against someone he's never met or encountered before, who he doesn't know the strength of, is what I'm asking.
I mean, I mean, like, I don't see why not, right? If this is, like, the same Gaara that, like, has the same sort of mentality, I guess, because he did use the sealing jutsu multiple times in the war. Like, he tried to seal everyone, like that. I'm just, like, giving that, like, Madara as an example, because it was the first one that came to mind. But, like, the first thing that Gaara did was he tried to, like, when he pulled up on the Kage, he, like, grabbed all of them with the sand and was about to seal them. Because keep in mind, right, Gaara went through, like, the, what is the 4th or 5th grade Shinobi War? I always get the numbers mixed up, but that specific Shinobi War, like, almost all of their enemies, like, at least the ones that meaned anything, were, like, like, they were, like, zombies that are, like, immortal and, like, you couldn't really kill them, per se. At least Gaara couldn't, right? And then, so he, like, sealed everyone. So if he has, like, the same, like, mentality, since you're using, like, all of the games, I guess, so I would use, like, you know, most of, like, Naruto, right? Which would be in character, because, again, he's used to fighting people who are, like, unkillable.
Wait, but the champion can be killed by mortal means. You said he used this mostly on people that couldn't die, so he was like...
No. I'm saying that... Wait. I'm saying that he's used to fighting them. Right, so that's one of his like first things that he does because he's used to fighting people who are immortal. I'm not saying like you have to be immortal because again he tried it on Madara, and at that specific point Madara wasn't. Unless he was, I might be misremembering, but yeah, if it was blind Madara, he was definitely not immortal.
So basically, what you're saying is that he would use this first off in character.
Yeah, since like this is considering like War Arc Gaara, right? So he would do it, yeah, like that. This specific.
Okay, so I do have a question about that. He used like people who can't die or people he thought were like a.
Did he cut up?
I don't think he knew about Edo Tensei. He might have. Let me read through it, but I don't think.
It said when like he fought Madara, he made it super dense. So that means he said, "Okay, I need to make
he
it
knew about
stronger than
Madara.
average."
Yeah, he knew about Madara, but I'm saying like about the Edo Tensei, right? The zombies specifically, right? I don't think he knew like that much about them. Like he knew that they were like dead, but I don't know how much he actually knew about them. I'd have to like reread that part.
Okay, so like if he knew they were dead, then it makes sense he would trap them in like a coffin to begin with. Because it would make sense
really.
to put the dead in like a pyramid.
I mean, not exactly. If I was face to face with like a zombie that was like, if I didn't know anything about it, right, and I saw a zombie, I would probably try and like kick it in the face or something. Or if I was Gaara, like if I wanted to like plug my controller in Gaara's butt, right, what I would do is I would just like sand coffin it, because like how is the zombie supposed to do anything if it's like crushed or something?
So basically, you're saying you would destroy it. You would destroy it first if he didn't know much about it, and then he would be surprised that it didn't die. So he would most likely not start off with like the sand person.
Yeah.
Okay, so what attack would he most likely start off with?
That's what I said. Like, he wouldn't start off with, like, the sand coffin. He would start off with, like, the sand prison. Because keep in mind, Gaara, he has, like, decent hacks, sort of. But, like, they're all the same, like, application. He still has to do something with the sand. So either he's, like, hitting you with the sand, just, like, normally, or he's trying to, like, grab you with it and crush you, or he's trying to grab you and seal you, right? And like what Gaara would probably do is like grab you and seal you, especially since this isn't like kid Gaara anymore, whose like first instinct is to like crush you to death, you know, because he's not like bloodlusted anymore. Because as a kid, he was definitely bloodlusted. Although I suppose
Yeah,
if
he
you
was.
say like, although I suppose if you do say it's like a pseudo composite, then you could argue that he would be bloodlusted. But at that point, I would just argue like then it would also include like the older Gaaras who are also smarter and would like if they're bloodlusted they would seal anyway. So I think it'd be the same difference almost.
Except the examples you used showed people that he either arguably had knowledge on or did have knowledge on before he fought them.
I mean, even then, why would that mean anything?
Because it showed that he knew what technique to use or had a good idea of what technique to use before he went into a fight. Because you said planned that thing out with Madara.
Yeah, that one thing, not like every. I don't think every single Edo Tensei. He probably did it like later on, like after he realized Edo Tensei's regenerate. Because I'm actually not super sure whether or not he had intel, but I don't think he did.
So do you not think or do you not know or are you not sure?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty like I think that he didn't have intel. If you can like show me him having intel, that'd be great.
I mean, you just said he knew what like Edo Tensei was. That he knew what the zombies were, and you said that if you were like him and you had no intel, your first instinct would be to sand coffin them.
Wait. I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think Gaara had intel, right? But he still went for the ceiling. Whereas me in my head, I would go for sand. That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
But even if you say that he wouldn't, like even if you say right that like maybe he wouldn't use that first, I still don't think there's a difference because if he use like say a sand coffin and that doesn't work, right? Then he has to seal you because he only has like 3 different like applications. Now to be fair, his like abilities have like sub hacks like built into them, like his like physical attacks. Since like the nature of chakra, they have like soul hacks like built in. But again, like it doesn't mean anything if like he like smacks you and then like his like passive like not passive but like semi-passive soul hacks doesn't work. Then he kind of has to seal you because like he only smacks you or grabs you. And when he grabs you, 50% of the time, he's, like, sealing you. So, yeah.
Basically, you're saying if one thing fails, he's likely to use, like, that's the stealing and the grabbing part?
Yeah, because if he grabs you and crushes you and it doesn't do anything, he's gonna grab you and seal you.
Okay, but he has to fail with, like, the other thing first.
That's only if I give you the benefit of the doubt and say he doesn't, like use that first, which he very well would, but if I steal many...
Except the examples you told me show that for one, he needed prep against Madara, and 2, you're not sure if he had prep against like the other ones or not.
Yeah, but I also said like I said I don't know if he has prep against the other one, but like since you made the positive claim that he like probably had like prep, right? Then I also said like because of that, then I would like you to have like to like prove that like he had prep because I don't think he did. I can Google it right now.
Okay, I'll let you Google it.
I think Coolgeek was inferring like he was inferring how like he explained how his character could do it. So like he made an inference on how like how he would be a
Geek. Hold on,
Get what
Geek.
he's doing.
Hold on, Geek. It's not on you to prove that Gaara knew or had knowledge on the other characters at that time. That's up for Brawl to prove. He made the claim.
Yeah, I know.
And
I was just trying to.
him because like he said like Gaara knew about them, and I'm asking, okay, well,
That's not what I said.
them beforehand.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Say, I said he knew about Madara, not the Edo Tensei. I'm pretty sure I never said that like Gaara had knowledge on
Sorry
the
about
Edo.
that. I must have
But
misheard.
yeah, no,
I
he
blanked
didn't
out
have
for a
knowledge
bit.
on the Edos, so no. Anyway, continue on.
Okay. It's just because, like, if he's, like, in the middle of a war, something tells me he would, like, just plan that out, because he's a master tactician.
Yeah, but like he didn't know what he was going up against, right? Like when the white Zetsu started like infiltrating their like ranks, everyone was like, "Yo, what's going on?" Right? Which if they had intel on everyone, right? If Gaara had intel on like the on the Edos, he should have also had intel on the white.
I mean, yeah, but can you say that he didn't know, like he was as ignorant as like them, or that he did know that he was just home?
I mean, why would he know? If literally every other member of the Allied Shinobi Force didn't know, why would Gaara? That doesn't make sense. You'd have to like.
Wait, you mean none of the out? Wait, you talking about like the high ones or like the foot soldiers?
Yeah, I mean literally everyone. Like no one knew when the white Zetsu started infiltrating. Literally everyone was like, "Yo, what's going on?" Like they didn't know the white Zetsu. Well, first of all, they were like surprised when they like saw the white Zetsu. They were like, "Yo, what are these guys?" And then like after they started fighting them, even after they fought them, this is very important. Even after they started fighting them, they didn't know that they can like turn into like allies and like infiltrate ranks. So the Allied Shinobi Force was very, very ignorant on like their opponents' like stuff.
Basically,
that includes Gaara.
Basically, Cool Geek is trying to say like you would have to prove he had prior knowledge on this point.
Yeah, you definitely have to prove that. It's not like my job to like prove a negative. But even if we go
I
off
literally
of
just said that earlier. You didn't have to go
Yeah.
down that line, Brawl.
I just asked if he was sure about it because he said he wasn't sure if he had intel or not. So I just wanted like clarification on it. That's all I asked.
I mean, that's fine, but even like after I said like when I wasn't sure, I said like you need to prove that he did have intel, right? Because that's the positive claim. I even said that like at the very first, before even nothing said anything, right? So, but like I was just feeding into this just because I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh, okay. Let me check if I have intel on like Gaara knowing about that first.
The Edo Tensei is like this forbidden jutsu who like most people like even back in part 1 when like the Yambu Black Ops were like watching from the outside of Hiruzen and Orochimaru's battle. They were like, "Yo, is that the first and second Hokage? What's going on? Why are they here?" Right? So even these like elite like Hokage's goons, right? That even they don't know like what the Edo Tensei is. So and then Gaara has never seen it, and he's not even from the Leaf Village. And Tobirama made the Edo Tensei. So if it's an ability that's forbidden in the Leaf Village, made by the Leaf Village, then why would the Sand Village's Kazekage know about it? That doesn't make sense.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, you said like what were the beings called that he fought again? The Zetsu clones?
Oh, the white Zetsus, yeah. They had like they were like the regular white Zetsu except modified with what do you call it? Yamato's like
Hashiwama cells?
yeah, like white Zetsus are pretty much like made out of like Hashirama cells almost. Or like it's really weird because like they're made from like the god, like the first one was like made by like the god tree, but like they give you like Hashirama clone like properties. It's really weird because they can use wood style when they're made from the god tree. But then, like, they injected them with, like, Yamato's DNA, which is, like, Hashirama DNA. Because Yamato is a Hashirama clone, almost. So it's, like, Hashirama plus Hashirama, I guess? I don't know. It's really weird.
Okay. I'm willing to say that he might not have known then. So he didn't know against the Zetsu, but he still used the sealing jutsu first.
Yeah, he didn't know against the Zetsu or the Edo Tensei, but he still used like the sealing jutsu on the Edo.
He used it first or after like his first attack failed.
Okay, so it's really weird because when he pulled up on like the 4 different like reanimated Kage, we see him like summon like all this sand, and then like he tries to grab them, except his father Raso like power nulls him really hard with the iron sand. And like we don't see what that like was supposed to be, but the first thing we see after that, like the actual first attack that Gaara like lands is a sealing jutsu. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So basically, we don't get to see his first attack because it gets interrupted, but we do get to see that after that first attack was interrupted, he does the sealing jutsu.
Basically,
Yeah, but
Basically, what she's inferring, what Coolgeek's inferring, is that that there could be a possibility that Gaara's ceiling was the first thing he was gonna use if it wasn't for the power.
I know what he's inferring to, but since it was interrupted, that's going off of speculation.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because the ceiling jutsu was the first thing that actually we saw. So you can't really say like the first ability that landed wasn't the ceiling. Actually, I'd argue it takes way more assumptions to say that that like it was something else. Because again, the first ability we see land was the ceiling, because Gaara wasn't able to like tag what do you call it, Rasa at all. Like all we see him, like the first ability that lands again is the ceiling jutsu. So if anything else touched him, it probably would have been a ceiling jutsu, because again, as soon as Gaara got a solid hold on him, he sealed him instantaneously.
Doesn't he have two attack? Well, doesn't he have two attacks that he uses to grab? Like there's the ceiling jutsu and then there's the sand coffin. So
Yeah,
can't you also
but
argue he would have used the sand coffin, but then he decided to use the ceiling jutsu instead?
well, here's the thing, right? If you wanted to use the sand coffin, then why didn't he use the sand coffin when he used the ceiling jutsu, right? Because again, you can maybe argue like if he damaged them and noticed they healed, but that didn't happen. He just like sealed them like without even seeing them get, like he didn't know they had regen and like were immortal. Like he didn't know that, so he just sealed them instantaneously. Well, I don't think he knew that. That is right. So he just like sealed them instantaneously.
So basically, he didn't see them heal or get injured, but he still used the ceiling jutsu after his foot attack was interrupted.
Yeah.
Okay, so when his attack was interrupted by his dad, did he have to fight his dad like after that attack was interrupted, and then did he seal his dad?
Define fight, because again, like Gaara like threw his sand at him, but like. See, okay, so let me explain how like Gaara's dad fights, because Gaara fights pretty similarly to Shikaku. As a matter of fact, Gaara's dad thinks Gaara Shikaku, and like they like Gaara's dad like first power knows him, right? So Gaara's dad uses his gold dust. I sort of referenced this earlier to weigh down Gaara's sand. So when Gaara does anything, his dad just mixes the gold dust with Gaara's normal sand, and Gaara's sand like gets heavier, and then just like doesn't work at that point pretty much. Until like later on when he's able to like mix the gold dust and it's like he can like manipulate it, but it took him a little while to like be able to move the sand with the gold dust in it, which is really weird because it will say that he can mix random minerals, but I'm assuming it's like the weight of like pretty much pure gold. Like half of his mix became gold, which is heavier than before, which is I'm pretty sure like why it was like nulling him. So
Okay, I actually do remember like his dad using gold sand instead of like use gold dust instead of sand, and then Gaara mix it. That makes sense.
Yeah, but and then like as a little bit of a side point, I guess, even if Gaara did go for like a sand coffin, right? And then if your character had like regen or something, then literally since Gaara's already like grabbing your character, all he would do is like transfer to a ceiling jutsu from then. As a matter of fact, that's what he did against Madara. He had like Shikaku like smack Madara, and then he like what would you call it? Like manipulated like the sand in like Shikaku's body to like form that little pyramid and like seal Madara.
Okay. Oh,
that's what I was saying. Like even if you argue he did know about the Edo Tensei or something, right? Then like after he tries to crush your character and it doesn't work, he would just see
it. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, that makes sense. Basically, he can do two things when he grabs, and he can transition between them simultaneously.
Exactly.
Okay, that was good. Okay, my counter to that would be, I actually would like to elaborate on like the defenses that I said like he had. Okay, so like the defense he has is like a Okay, here's the defense that he has. He has an amulet around his neck that projects a shield around him that was given to him from an archmage named Alien.
Wait, can you repeat that? What about a mage? Sorry, I got a message on my.
Oh, okay. Basically, what I did say was that he has a amulet around his neck that projects a protective field around him that he got from an ultimate named Alien.
Okay. So I guess I got a couple questions there. Okay, so like, how strong is the force field? Like, does it scale to your character above, below? If so,
Oh, I'm getting
like,
to
above...
that. I'm getting to that. I just like wanted to make it vague to start off with, and then elaborate on it. And so, because I wasn't sure what questions you had.
Okay, yeah, because I got like 1,000 questions.
Okay, start with just 2 first, and then we can
Okay,
get to
yeah.
the other 998.
How like how strong is the force field? Does it scale to your character above, below, like what? And also,
Honestly, yes, I could say that it. Okay, wait, what? Okay, like okay, no, say what you were gonna say before I like said something.
yeah. So, and if it does scale like above, by how much? Like, can you quantify?
Okay. And... You're asking, does it scale to or above my character, and how much does it scale?
Yeah, if it is above, how much above?
Okay. Well, basically, what this is that Alien was, you know, those scans I showed you that shows like the wizards from that universe, like the
Yeah.
basic wizards are easily planet level.
Yeah.
Like the one I showed you before.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the thing about Alien that makes him unique is that he actually, he's not only an automate that automatically puts him several times above that. He's also able to do a type of magic that basically amps up magic far above its normal standings.
Okay. What is that?
Amp himself. Oh, okay. Actually, I'll just like show these scans because they'll probably give you an idea. Let me get the scans. Hey, wait, you said you had 1,000 questions. Do you want to like add like a third one to it, and then we can get to 997?
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't literally mean 1,000, right? But basically, the thing is, right? Like, what is the shape of the force field? I guess you'd say, like, what kind of force field is it? Is it like a wall? Is it like an omnidirectional like dome? Is it like a semicircle? Like, what is it?
Sphere.
Omnidirectional like sphere?
Yes.
Okay.
Bless you.
You good?
Oh wait, Phoenix, you were gonna say something?
Hey, bro, you're right. You need to socially distance yourself even more.
Oh no, I'm fine. I just like had to cough real quick. What'd you say, Phoenix?
I just said bless you and stuff because you're coughing.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So like.
Yeah. Okay. So you said it's like a sphere. So does that mean when your character uses it, like does the sphere like cover up like the ground, or like can you give me like a scan of like the?
Okay, you want like a scan of the sphere itself, or do you? Can I like just go like how like strong it is?
But basically, what he's saying is, like, how is the shield like presented on him? Like, is it already covering him? Is it like a
He's saying, I just wanted. I know what he's saying.
Yo, can you hear me? I got
going point by point. I can hear you now. I know what he's saying, Phoenix. I'm just saying like one point at a time. Like first, I'll go over like how strong and durable the shield is. Then I'm gonna get to like.
Wait, can we go
how
over
much
this one first? Because I think the other one, if the shield like isn't a specific shape, then the other point doesn't even matter. So does the shield like can you give me like a scan of it?
I mean, like I'm already working on like that point already.
Okay, then that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so like let me just get this here.
It's way too fucking quiet.
It is. I was starting to fall asleep.
Guys, do you
Yeah,
want
it
to
is.
go
Wait,
Oh,
what?
that-
Why? I just feel the player next to me, so I need to like wait till it passes before I can talk.
That's since it's quiet. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Oh yeah, same for mine.
Yeah, just try not to make it drag out too long, because y'all have been at it for like an hour and a half.
Jesus, how long does the debate last?
I mean,
Whole hour and a
but I mean,
half.
Geek's been having like a nice time, like Geek.
No,
Oh yeah, it's been kind of fun.
No, what he meant was the fact, like, you're taking so long on one point.
Please,
Oh,
fast.
I actually
Faster.
did find something like
I
that.
almost need to go back. I almost need to go back. Please be faster.
Oh man, I don't want to miss it. If we were recording this, this would actually be good to record. That the stand like traps you by stunning you, or it's like a status effect.
It's like this weird magnet effect because he uses like magnet release to like trap you in like this giant like magnet like sand like pyramid thing. It's really weird, but like essentially uses magnetism and sand to trap you essentially, but like chakra magnetism. It's
Basically, he does stun you with like the sand inside the coffin.
yeah, he
because it stops
immobilizes
you from
you.
moving. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if stun's the right word, but immobilize definitely.
Okay. Thing. Here's the first part, and then here's the second part because for some reason Discord won't let me load all of it.
Yeah, actually, let me look at the definition of stun real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, no, stun is definitely not the right word. I just looked up the definition. It's like knock unconscious or in a deep daze or another state, right? So no, it would definitely wouldn't be stun. It would be like I said, it's
Technically,
literally
you have stun like remember you have like stun guns that use electricity. So stun could mean like you're stuck in place.
I mean, okay, sure. So here, let me copy and paste the definition. So I just read definition 1. Definition 2 is astonish or shock someone that they are temporarily unable to react. Right. So even if it's like shocking someone, this isn't the same thing, right? It's definitely not electricity.
I didn't mean
It's magnet.
as a noun and a verb.
Yeah, here, let me post the definition in the zone of.
Okay.
There you go.
In a semi-conscious state. So what I have to ask is that are you conscious like in the sand coffin?
In
No
the sand
air
coffin
can
or
get
in
in, so
the,
that would like show me that at some point you will. The air is probably knocked out of you by the time it's done, because it doesn't hit hard or something.
well, this is a couple things. This is the desert layered imperial funeral seal, right? So it wouldn't be the sand coffin, but are you knocked unconscious when you're inside of it? Probably not. Like Madara wasn't. Gaara's dad wasn't. Who else did he seal? I think he sealed the Tsuchikages, and he wasn't knocked unconscious. So no, you're not. Not inherently. Like I suppose he could knock you unconscious before he sealed you, but like not inherently. No, you're not unconscious. No.
Okay, so like, did you see the things put like in the description?
Let me see. Did I miss something? I see the one. Okay, wait. I only read the one that says grants immunity to stuns. Let me see. Let me read the other one.
Okay, quick question, guys. Do you want to go to conclusions? Because this has been dragging out for like an hour.
I mean, Geek,
Yeah.
do you want to
Okay.
go to
Yeah.
conclusions?
Yeah. I have
And
like one more question. Can you like prove that like can you provide me like a visual representation of like the shield? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't cover like the ground underneath him. And if it doesn't cover the ground underneath them, Gaara can like still get his like sand underneath the shield. And Gaara can still potentially just seal the shield anyway, so that doesn't really matter. So we can go to conclusions. It doesn't really matter after this. Let me read the other
I mean,
scan.
to be honest, if like the shield is a spear, then that gives him enough time to grab his staff to use it. That thing was for bringing up like his defenses and stuff. Right now, I'm getting
sure.
like
Let me
that.
read this text and I'll get that.
Scan. Okay, let me just find the scan right here. I have a lot of stuff on this computer.
Okay.
Is this debate done?
Not yet.
What the? Oh,
Can any of the judges please end it here?
Let me. Also, I just read the thing, and I don't think the shield is passive. And if it's not passive, then it doesn't matter. Gaara would still grab
Why do you
you
not think it's? Why do you not think it's passive?
because nothing suggests it's passive.
So you can just assume it's not passive?
What? Wait. Yeah. You need to prove that it is passive, right? I'm saying that you'd need to like, if it's not passive, then Gaara's like sand would just grab your character before it can activate, right? Most attacks are active, or most like defenses and offenses are like active, right? So they need to activate their resistance. If it's not, then it would be passive, and then at that point you'd have to prove that your defense is passive.
Okay, but at the same time, it need to activate itself, and we have them at both equal speed. Then that just means it would still be equal.
Wait, what do you mean?
And you said basically Garstan would hit the champion because it's equal speed, and because that also means equal attack speed, so that would also mean equal defense speed.
What he
Sure,
did,
but I'm not. Oh, what were you saying?
Basically, I think Coolgeek's trying to say is that he's asking, like, does your character have to actively activate the shield?
Yeah, because like if your character has to like activate it, right, and it's not a passive ability, then Gaara's like sand, because like I said, it would already be like under the feet of your character, since this is like a neutral space where everyone can use all of their abilities. Sand would literally be touching your character's feet, so all it would do is just like rise up from underneath, and then seal your character.
Okay. Okay, let me just get that thing that shows. So basically, unless it's an omnidirectional attack, it wouldn't really touch them. So basically, you're saying that if I need to show evidence for the attack, for like the defense being omnidirectional.
Yeah, omnidirectional and passive. Yeah, those two things.
Okay. I got proof of that. God fucking damn it. it's not working. Oh, god dang it. Did I accidentally delete that? Not working. Okay. So you wanna... Damn. Oh, god dang it, I'm still trying to find it. I could have sworn I had to scan, but I can't find it. So do you want to go to like concessions now or something?
Yeah, if you want to concede, that's fine. Or we can go to conclusion.
And okay, well, basically, man, I could have sworn I had it. Yes. You guys think I have to like go to like concessions now or something?
Conclusions, you mean? Yeah,
Okay,
let's
let's
go
go
to
to
conclusions now.
Yeah, do you want to do your conclusion first, or do you want me to do my conclusion?
Okay, well, okay. You can do your conclusion first.
All right. Yeah,
Actually,
I
wait,
think
no, let me
I won.
do my conclusion first.
All right, you can do your conclusion first. Go.
Okay, for instance, I think I won due to proving that the champion has the means to arguably defend against Gaara's sand prison, and I've raised questions about whether Gaara would start with the sand prison in the first place. And if he didn't, then I have proven that my character has the necessary abilities to either predict the sand coffin, and if that fails, the sand prison wouldn't be as effective as it would be. And Cool Geek, you can go now.
All right, so I think I won because I proved that my Gaara would seal his character. That even if he didn't like start off with the sealing, it would still work because he can seamlessly transition from his like 3 moves, and then he didn't really provide a win con like at all. So yeah.
Okay, I'll start off with my judgment. I honestly think Cool Geek stomped and stuff, mostly due to the fact that like FatefulBrawl was taking like an entire hour to like find a point to counter the whole ceiling technique, and that took way too long, and like and he it felt like he was dragging out the debate though, and like Cool Geek already like proven why Gaara would start off with like the sand prism technique. So in all, I would say like Cool Geek took it like 10 out of 10.
Okay, so I'm going last, so you can go ahead and
Alright.
point.
Alright, I definitely have to say Cool Geek had better rhetoric overall. He was more prepared on the spot. He had better counters. He was better with explaining himself. You couldn't really quantify certain things at first either. It was taking you a while to do that. It seemed you were a bit confused. Overall, I would have to give it to Cool Geek more often than not. He just was way more prepared on the spot. And way more counters, better points overall. So.
Okay, so can I go?
Yeah.
So this was kind of like a one-sided clap. There was no real point that like Brawl even managed to gain any real weight on Geek. He couldn't really prove the majority of his shit. Cool Geek kind of just either out-argued it or just like reduced the skin to what Cool Geek's interpretation was entirely. So that proves Brawl didn't really know his shit or couldn't argue for his shit that well. Cool Geek definitely had better rhetoric overall. There was no rhetorical contest here. Cool Geek won pretty well. As for the character versus character stuff, Cool Geek managed to prove that his character would just be able to seal the champion quite casually, pretty easily at that. Also, Brawl couldn't really prove as to why his character would have passive defenses, which would just contribute to why Cool Geek won from his win con. So, overall, it was a one-sided annihilation, and this is way too drawn out considering it was going on for an hour and 44 minutes. So, yeah, Cool Geek wins pretty bad. So,
Okay, I would say he won, but it sounds like you just didn't go over some of his points.
I did. He won all of his points.
What I'm talking about is that, like,
Literally
like
all of the points he argued you on, he won.
Wait, bro, I think what you're saying is like he should have like went over every point we made. The debate was like an hour. If he went over like every single point individually, we would be here for another like.
And besides that, right? There was just way too much circularity on like the whole multiplier thing, and Cool Geek won that point pretty casually. I even had to step in and say what 100% meant in terms of a multiplier. Not to mention, you couldn't even argue any of your shit well either. So like, Cool Geek has won all of the points in the debate that like you guys didn't just agree on inherently.
Okay, look, I do agree like he won, but at the same time, you guys always say the same stuff every time I debate.
Well, he did.
Yeah,
No, I don't. I know he won. That I knew like when I finished that he most likely won. But what I'm saying is that you say the same stuff about like what I say, like how I debate.
Because you make the same mistake, Fate.
What he's saying.
What do you mean by I make the same mistake?
Wait, hold on. What he means is that like you're not your points. What he means is like Cool Geek countered all your points and like you didn't stand a chance. Like you lost everything, and like you're not really.
I mean, I do agree I lost, but I wouldn't say I lost completely.
Yes, you completely lost. You completely lost.
It was remember that one time I actually had him above that one thing, and then he had to say like another thing to go above that with the shot.
Wait, you mean when I like let you upscale?
You haven't really proven like you couldn't beat him in the upscaling department. Like, and he already proved like his prism could actually work on your character and is more potent.
Literally, he just agreed to your upskilling. He didn't like lose or even win the point.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Brawl, what I could have done.
I made something he agreed to.
Wait,
my main point was that being
an agreement doesn't necessarily mean a concession of the premise on the core argument.
I didn't say it meant a concession. I just said we both agreed on something.
That's what you're inferring.
Okay, wait, bro. Just because we agree on something. Wait.
Words in like my mouth and like try to say my intentions.
Wait. That's not what we're doing. We're just saying, right, that since we agreed on something. And that's not necessarily like a point for you, right? Like they're saying that if it was a concession, then sure, that would be a point for you. But it wasn't, right? We just agreed on something, which again doesn't mean anything. Like I literally said, I steelmanned you. Like,
yeah, actually, over half the entire debate was Cool Geek steelmanning to begin with.
Yeah, and after the debate, it was basically Cool Geek like handing him like an agreement on some points. Like Cool Geek was countering most of the time. He was just like steelmanning him.
Yeah, every point Cool Geek didn't agree to, like that you guys just agreed with on general, he won.
I mean, what I'm saying is like, Panapi, say like your thing again, because there was one thing you said here that
Brawl, I'm gonna make it really simple. Over half the entire debate was circular reasoning, okay, or just circularity in general. You guys were arguing about the multiplier shit. You were arguing 385 times. Cool Geek explained why that was 385%. And then he had to then go, at least ballparking into what that would equate to as a multiplier. You conceded to that. Then when you started upscaling your other shit, he didn't have a contention with the shit you were upscaling, because, like, it made sense to him. So he agreed to your upscaling.
Oh, also, another thing
Hold on, I'm not done, Phoenix. Okay. Moving on, you didn't even give a win con. That's kind of like a big L on your end, not giving a win con.
That's because I had to get through with like an offense to like that one.
Second, it took you more than 30 minutes just to establish what your defenses or your quote unquote hacks resistances were predicated off of.
What?
Yeah. Everyone in here can attest to what I was saying that listened. Yes, it took you longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah,
But I
he was
still
right.
did it though. That's the thing.
It
Also,
took you way
I
too long.
It got dragged out. That's what he means. You took way too long to counter that
say it
point.
gets dragged out. Like, how long do you expect debates to take? Is what I'm thinking.
I've destroyed people in 20 minutes. I've destroyed people in 8 minutes.
This debate
what
should
he-
literally only be 45 minutes tops.
Yeah, like what he means
okay.
is like you were dragging out on more points than not. Like there was only like one point that like Cool Geek was pulling to, and that one point was the prism point, and you took like 45 to like an entire hour just to try to prove or encounter that one single point.
Besides,
But
the
I've seen some
entire
of your
core
debates take
argument.
like an hour too.
Besides that, the entire
That's
core
you in
point
that
was
debate
ceiling.
take an hour.
Wait, Brawl. We're not saying that like it's bad that like the debate took an hour. They're saying that it was bad because it took an hour and we were on one point. Like if we went to like 30 different points and it took an hour, that's one thing. But we were on one point for over an hour. That's real.
Yeah, that's
That one
complete
point
and
was
utter
just
circular reasoning. Legit, the reason
One
why I
point
didn't even
was
step in
just
over
one
half the time.
though.
Hold on, legit. The only reason why I didn't even step in over half the time was because you're trying to like get elite badass as a role. Otherwise, I would have stepped in like on the first 5-10 minutes of it.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think everyone can agree mostly with what I was saying. At least I was listening to the debate while they were in the call. So, do I have any real
Yeah.
And I
concerns
do
from
agree,
people other
Cool
than
Geek
Brawl?
won. I would just like you to restate some of like your reasoning because like there was
I
something you said
did.
in, like your
I did.
rebuttal.
Okay. Here is like the 5 or 6 things that mattered, okay? One, you guys were on 1 point for like an hour, right? Basically the whole ceiling thing, right? Then there was the upscaling. You guys agreed to each other's upscaling. Other than what Cool Geek managed to get you to concede on, okay? There's the upscaling. Then there is the whole thing about whether or not your defense, how it was a defense, how it was a hack resistance, how did it work. That was one thing. Another thing was whether or not it was active or passive. And then another shit was about, was like you trying to make Cool Geek trying to prove a negative on whether or not Gaara had knew about the zombies just to use the ceiling hacks.
He
That
said he
was a
wasn't sure
whole
on that
other
part,
thing.
to be honest.
And then any other thing wouldn't
That
have
actually
even mattered
goes
to
into
begin
the
with.
fan prism
That
because I want.
legit, that was the entire debate in a nutshell.
Wait, Brawl. Look, it's not that the point about the knowledge wasn't relevant. It's the fact that you asked me to prove a negative. That's like debating 101. Is you don't have to prove negative.
Yeah, legit. There was only about like 6 different things in this debate that could have been covered in like 30 minutes or less. This took way too long. Legit, I'm leaving this on just to have some extra freaking minutes of like extra recording time. So Cool Geek can upload the shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Yeah. In conclusion, like all
And I
three
say
judges.
that I do. I mean, I would say he won, but I still know I did okay.
Hey, bro.
Okay.
please,
You didn't do
lost.
okay. That's what he meant.
I
Like,
didn't
just
say
said-
I did.
Yeah.
I lost. I just admitted that I lost.
In conclusion, we all three agree you got annihilated. You're not getting promoted today.
yeah, you got annihilated bad.
And
All
I
3
didn't
of
say
you.
anything about a promotion. I said that I at least did a good job, like by what I saw.
Yeah,
You gotta
hold on,
you
bro.
gotta
I told you before that, and sorry for overspeaking anyone, but bro, I told you that you had to do decent, right? You didn't have to win or lose, but you got destroyed so bad. There's no way to justify how you did decent. This was not even a close debate at all. You got clapped. Okay.
I mean,
Sid was
now when I
the
asked
majority.
Cool Geek at least, like, what did he think?
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, he was the one I was debating.
He agreed to the judges, but
Well,
even then,
we're the judges, so we're supposed to give like the overall conclusions.
I mean, even then, I guess we can go ahead and let Cool Geek say his piece. So.
Well,
Yeah, I was hoping you weren't gonna ask me for my input, but like it was so easy that like when I said I was falling asleep, that wasn't because of the pause. That was because like I didn't really have to try that much,
Yeah.
and half of the points that I steelman you on is just because I knew it would take long. Cause see, I have this like habit. Right, my debates take a long time because of two reasons. Because like I'll like derail sometimes, and two, I'll like be more charitable to my opponent than I probably should. And half the things I steelman you on, so like the debate wouldn't take like 2 hours, and I still steelman you on a bunch of things, right? That I really could have like stuck to and like debunked pretty easily. Like when I said like I don't have to prove a negative, but and then I started like telling you why like my point would still stand.
Yeah, dude, you did
But
horrible.
you still
right?
like enjoyed it?
Well, I enjoyed it more than the coin debate.
It was still pretty decent. I mean, it was fun, especially towards the beginning.
It's
I mean,
just
yeah, that's
you
the
did not
good
hold
thing of
out.
that.
It's just you did not hold out. Like
I thought it was
I
kind of
keep
fun.
saying
Like
that every time I'm on. Don't you see any improvement put on these? Because like you always say the same thing.
Brawl. True improvement becomes the thing when you know how you're making mistakes, what mistakes you're making, and how to improve on the mistakes. But you keep making the same mistakes, regardless of what you learn. You have not improved that much. You need to
I mean,
learn.
I learned more about the kill, dude. I learned more about how to like capabilities. And
Sure,
how to
and I know Cheryl can destroy stars. That won't change anything if like I end up dragging out the debate 5 times in a row.
You can learn how to put a gun together. If you can't shoot it, it's useless.
Yeah.
You can learn how to you can learn about like rocket ships and how like you can see how rocket ships go into space, but you have to learn how to make a rocket ship, like learn all the steps.
Yeah, whenever you scale a fictional verse, Brawl, you have to know the inner mechanizations of how the verse works, the narrative context of how the narrative treats each and every descriptive term within the entire verse, understand the context for the scaling, understand the context for statements, understand the context for situation, what would be provably canonical and what would just be resorted to as either non-canonical or just a game mechanic. You have to know so many things when you go into scaling a verse. No one even thinks about, okay? The problem is sure, yeah, you did a little bit of homework, but you didn't know how to argue for what you have, okay? Like, let's say someone did a debate between, like, Featherine and, like, a fucking mud crab from Skyrim, right? Now, obviously, on a one-to-one basis, Featherine should annihilate the fucking crab, right? Well, the guy who argued for Featherine was just so bad of a debater that they couldn't get Featherine above baseline out of Ursel, and someone managed to successfully defend like the mud crab meme, basically allowing them to one-shot, Featherine, right? Now they did the homework on the lore, but they didn't know how to fucking argue for what they had,
Oh.
And besides that, not everything needs a deemable be-all, end-all answer. It's fine to let things be a bit vacuous.
That's funny.
Basically, what he says is it doesn't matter about like the characters per se in the debate. Like it depends on how you argue it. Like it could literally be anything, upside, one-sided. It just all depends on how you argue.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah, because fiction's not going anywhere, right? You can pick up a book now or in 30 years, it won't change a thing. But your rhetoric will.
Also, if he probably said something about, like, called me out on, like, standard battle assumptions, because that changes all the time. So, when I said that, like, standard battle assumptions is this, that's, like, from my last knowledge. So, if you, like, pulled up Versus Wiki and they changed, like, yesterday, I might have actually been screwed, Not literally, because I have other points, but you get the picture.
Yeah, but your main argument would have been compromised. That's the entire thing of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Brawl. You got annihilated really, really bad, okay? While you did your homework, okay? You knew, about the verse, you've read the verse, whatever, right? But you have to know how to argue for it. You gotta know how to defend it. And you just gotta learn the entire verse other than just reading a book once or twice. Because if you read a book once or twice, that's not gonna tell you anything, right? You gotta learn the entire narrative. You gotta learn how all the shit works. And then you have to learn how to apply the shit and learn how to defend the shit, okay? Because you can make arguments that you think are good, but they may prove to be horrible in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Green here can tell you, right? This man debates IRL shit all the time. Okay, he'll tell you.
Yeah. Forrest, tell him.
Yeah. No? Tell him what,
Yeah,
sorry?
Yeah, tell him how good you are in like IRL and how you can like argue.
Yeah, I usually body people so badly they end up throwing ad hominems at me.
Yeah, and that's like
Everyone
because
else
they,
can
and that's
unmute
because
now,
they don't
by
know
the
the
way.
topic, right? They just read over it once or twice, but you took the time to read over it. So like you know the mechanizations of what you argue. Other people don't, right? That's mainly why they listen all the time.
Wait. We do. I've been here for 541 already. You dragged for too long.
Yeah, I think I don't mean to cut
I've
you
been here
on.
for 541 already. AM.
In my opinion, this is a flop. Basically, what I would be saying is that like,
Well, that was.
first off, you would have to.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I've never been in a debate where I've only stayed on one point and it's been like an hour. Like, no.
Yeah.
I was also gonna point out right here, along with what Forrest said. Yeah, that's what's wrong. And while FatefulBrawl did try his best, it just felt very.
Yeah.
But I mean, Geek even said he enjoyed it.
Just because he enjoys it doesn't mean it's a realistically good debate.
You know
That could just
something
mean he
also
had
about
personal
fight.
enjoyment because he was
Fake.
arguing for Gaara.
You know, I'll put it to you this way. You know, you did better yesterday when you had that point against Phoenix. Today, you really just screwed up. You're just too inconsistent. Like, you consistently do the same mistake like nothing told you earlier.
What
like
I
you
was
don't
the one
learn
saying,
from your
about
mistakes.
like FatefulBrawl, what he's saying is like you're like making the multiple like mistakes. Like you're not staying on points. At times, sometimes you make like new points, and sometimes you like you get confused and backtrack, and also like also you should be better prepared because in this debate, it felt like you couldn't find your stuff, and some of the stuff you had, like you took a while to look for it.
I was prepared. I just needed to get it. Like, this is like a 7-page document that I made.
You didn't really answer.
It's a while to look
You
through
didn't
it.
really respond to what I told you. You know what I just said, right? You can read a book once or twice. It doesn't mean you're going to know the mechanizations of how the verse works.
Didn't mean I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the scans I made of the book.
The book is
Like
just
the
a
picture of it.
metaphorical for your verse.
Basically, he's talking about analogy and stuff. He's comparing and contrasting what like your flaws in the debate.
Yeah,
I know what he's
literally
talking about, but I'm saying he's misinterpreting what I mean.
I
No,
know
no,
exactly
you're
what you
misinterpreting
mean,
what he
but you're
means.
not
Wait, wait.
understanding what I mean.
Okay.
Yo, Brawl, literally you're saying he's misinterpreting you because he's saying like a book and you mean the doc. Well, when he says the book, right, he doesn't mean that literally. He's speaking metaphorically. When you say the book, like that's the oldest trick in the book. Most people don't literally mean like some book with tricks in it, right? That's just, one of the oldest tricks that like people know about. When people say book, especially the term book, you should really know that like they're not speaking literally most of the time.
Basically, basically what it is like is that you're not really being that good at like arguing or like doing your rhetoric. Kind of like, for example, it's like a boxer, like a professional trained boxer versus a rookie. Who do you think would win? No matter how like strong and buff like the rookie is compared to the professional is gonna win because he's more skilled and experienced.
I don't know about all of that.
It was just an analogy. Don't dwell on that.
Obviously, there could be exceptions to that.
I know. I'm just,
But anyway,
It's the difference between someone who knows. It's a difference between someone who knows like everything about like a car, like he's just like a casual knower about cars, to like a mechanic.
Yeah.
Here's a better analogy. Okay, so how many of you in here do you know general knowledge about Cthulhu mythos?
Nope. I know that Cthulhu and Azathoth exist. That's it.
Okay, let me try a better analogy. Kogi, how much you know about Naruto?
I know a good bit.
Okay, so just because you've watched Red or like seen bits of Naruto, does that like mean you know the mechanizations of how the verse handles its lore in other parts?
Not at all. Back before I was like a scaler, I watched Dragon Ball like 3 times,
Okay,
and I
so,
still thought that
Hey, bro, I gotta go now.
Okay, Phoenix.
Okay, so
Bye.
Hey,
but anyway, so you're
Good
saying
night, good night.
Yeah, like back when I was younger, I watched Dragon Ball like 3 times, and like I still couldn't scale it for crap. I thought everyone was like planetary, like that meme. They're like planetary plus 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 plus, and you just keep adding pluses. That was unironic.
Basically, what he's saying.
Another analogy, like someone who has like read like a biology book, like has read it, the ins and out of it, compared to someone who's an actual surgeon and knows the ins and outs of the body.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying is, if you're trying to like learn or like you're trying to develop on something, you can't just learn it in the first go. Like it takes time to like to get better and better. Similar to how like like Goku and Naruto, how they have those training arcs and how they get more stronger and stronger and stronger and stuff.
Yeah. So like, my entire point in Brawl is that all you did better was just that you had more stuff, but that didn't mean anything because you couldn't defend it. Cool Geek argued your verse better than you could argue it. That's really bad.
That's what I did to Godspeed that one time.
You mean the math thing he did?
Cool Geek legitimately argued your verse for you better than you did. And over half the stuff
like,
you even still made.
I mean, besides like the math part, like when he converted like the percentage, what else could he have argued better?
Besides that, there was also like the point about like whether or not like your ability was like passive, and like how you can't just assume your character's ability is passive. He's also talking about that point along with a few other points. Like I argued that you can like that I would like round your like character up, like when the multiplier was actually like 3.85 times I think it was, and I said we can round up to 4 times, you know, like stuff like that.
That's just basic math though. Anyone could have done the basic math.
Yeah, but
I mean, you
But-
might have could have, but you didn't.
Hold on, so Brawl, knowing when to make inferences and when not to go with inferences is also an integral part of how to determine sometimes strength of a character.
Yeah. Or when I was like telling you your character needs a quantification, how like sort of I was able to like argue that like your character just being big strong doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? I was able to like get you to like put a number to it, and then I argued the number for you as well. Like that whole thing was essentially me arguing for your character. Like you provided the scans, but I argued your scans better.
I thought you were making references and we were just agreeing, like, I just agreed to that. I should have gotten them higher, but...
He was trying to help you understand how your character's multiplier works. That's what he was trying to do.
Okay, Brawl, you came up with about 20 different ingredients to make a fucking taco, and Cool Geek made the taco for you. That's basically the best way to sum it up.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like.
Basically, you gave like you gave 20 ingredients, but like what Cool Geek did, he gave you the secret formula, and like that had everything else in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Brawl, you are not gonna be elite badass.
You can stop dumping on him now.
Yeah, we can stop shit on him. Okay, so...
I prove that I did, like, at least better than I did last time.
No, you did better yesterday than you did today.
Yeah, I
How
agree
is
with
that
that.
possible?
Because
you actually got a
sometimes
point
people
yesterday.
have
It was more
legs and
enjoyable than your
irons.
debate before, and I enjoyed it more.
People aren't always going to do better the next day. Sometimes you can have something that just fucks them over. Or just to make mistakes.
You can't get a
That's not how
Zenkai boost.
people work at all. It's like people have like good days or bad days. Like
We're
Did
not
you
an
just say this was a bad day and I would have done better otherwise?
No,
He's saying that like a
because I'm
Zenkai, you can't expect to get a Zenkai boost in like one day unless like you're taught by like a professional.
Like, dude, do you know how long, like, CoolGeek's been talking to me? Like, you know how, like, I've known that man?
Yeah.
Years?
A year and a half, to be specific. I've known that man for a year and a half, okay? This motherfucker took a year and a half to get this good, right? Half of it was his fault, but that doesn't change the fact that it was his own effort that is finally managed to get to this point, you know?
The funny thing is, he's not wrong.
Basically, the thing I want to ask is, how long do you expect it to go over, like, a point?
Like, it shouldn't really take long, at least at bare minimum.
10
at least,
minutes?
like, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
or 5 minutes.
Maybe 20? Depends on the point and whether or not it's a complex argument.
Yeah.
Gravity, you want to say anything?
Gravity, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to give your thoughts? You were here for a while.
There's not much for me to say. That's already been said.
Yeah.
To be honest, like,
I was gonna say y'all can unmute now if y'all want. Like it's kind of over now.
Yeah. So do you have anything to add, Gravity?
no, not really.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Yo, what's up,
Not anything new. Wait, which one's Gravity?